Good afternoon, everyone. Happy July 7th, 2025, a Monday edition of Trading Trends. Hope everyone had an absolutely great 4th of July. Pretty great times here in the East Coast. It was wonderful. Fireworks, burgers, the whole thing. Today we have a very cool, straightforward, kind of a global show. That's what really moved today. We'll take a look. It was a sell-off. We'll look at where the affected areas were. Let's get on the charts here. First, the summary doc. So Japan, Taiwan, and Brazil all sold off somewhere between 2 and 3%. This is where the pain was today. Not a lot of up movers. You can always also notice here. I'll skip forward a little bit, but there are no gainers today in a multiple standard deviation manner. The closest I got were the silver miners, and that is not a massive asset class for me, so I did not include it. So no parameters there. The dollar did register a 1 standard deviation on the button move higher, which rates were higher today, and as was volatility. And these global parts were lower. Of course, Trump also announcing that there's going to be some tariffs potentially, and it's made these areas go lower. You see Japan. We'll look at all the charts. A global show today. Tesla also got hammered, on the news that Musk is going to make a new party. We'll look at that in a sec. So Japan, Taiwan, and Brazil all off by about 2.5%. Industrials, new all-time highs here in the U.S. They did reverse and then close lower, but you did have new all-time highs there in the XLI. All right, so un momento, por favor. All right, there she goes. Yeah. Okay, so Tesla, on that down 7% today was Tesla on that news that Musk is going to make his new party and lose attention from his core company here. So down 7%. Shareholders sold that off. Stock not looking good again. We're looking at that breakout level about 315, 320. Above that, it does look good. Under that, don't really like it. It seems to be in free fall today. No different. Palantir up 3.5%. Still trying to get to that 140 mark and make it its new floor. Today, inches closer. AMD down 2%. Stock still looks very good. It's had a really good run. It's up 12% year to date. There are other areas that were better, but a good looking stock, AMD, all of a sudden it seems. Okay, so let's go to the intraday. Slightly below average volume today, not by a ton, but I'm doing it on SPY terms. About 60 million shares instead of an average about 72, so down about 15-ish% or so, depending on the index. So here we open pretty weak all day. They sold it off pretty much all day. The actual bottom came at 2:30 p.m. at 618 in SPY. Rounding, and then you look at this. Tell me technical analysis, right? It means nothing. And the algos don't know anything. We got right to the volume weighted average price on the day here, which was 621, and we ended up actually reaching that at 3:30 p.m. and then closed just a hair beneath it to close down about 75 bips. As we have been saying, we were expecting a bullish accumulation phase for SPY ending on or around July 8th. That is tomorrow, and the dollar price that I was looking at in terms of spot was right around 620. Said I didn't really want to chase above 620, though. Be warned, if the quarterback of the market, SMH, really starts hitting its stride and we get true overbought, it could go higher. And we actually got as high as on the 3rd of July at 626, or exactly 1% above my target. Now, what this could be the beginning of the move, a little bit of the small correction, as I said, in terms of 2 weeks having its bearish distribution phase. We'll see what tomorrow brings. Like I said, we'll look at the areas and how the charts look. Today was more of a global sell-off day, especially with the dollar strong move up. But we're picking hairs a little bit. But towards the, I want to see when it turns, and when I have a new signal date turn, it looks like it's going to be possibly tomorrow. Maybe it was today. Maybe it's Wednesday. But they'll have a sell-off into the end of the month to about a 606 area. It's just your 21-day exponential moving average, as well as your exact middle point of your Bollinger Band here. It just seems like it would make sense here. So that's 14 points, or about 2.5%. Today you did 0.75%. So I want to chase here. Nice, like I said, though, bullish confirmation going higher. Lets me know that we do have some momentum, beautiful stochastic momentum mix. Just this thing has not quit since breaking above the 200 moving average May 12th, really off to the races for SPY, minus that breather on the 23rd right before Memorial Day. That was your last stop before it really left the station when it was at 580, and oof, here we are at 620. So that'll be your opportunity, like I said, over the next 2 weeks. Probably I'm just doing quick, cocktail napkin math in the back of my head here, somewhere around the 23rd-ish or so of July. I'm expecting SPY to be right around 605, and that's going to be an opportunity to get on board for the second half of the year as we go higher. Okay, stuff that did not go higher as I go through the sheet here. We're going to cover a lot in these charts because in terms of mileage, we're going to cover around the globe. Standard deviation movers to the upside. As I said, there were none, so that makes this part of the show easy. We lost an entire segment. Movers lower. So Japan down 2 1/3%, down almost 2.5%, down 2.4. A pretty hardy move. You could see that candle, pretty ugly, closed at the lows. These guys coming off highs. June 27th at 75.5, and here we are all the way down to 72, 79. Now what? Don't like this area for the next 1 to 2 weeks. It's a little bit overdone to me. I think it would. I thought that just looking at the chart, this would hug around 73.5 for a little bit longer, but instead it really just immediately dropped 2%, 2.5% out of bed today. I think the floor on this, I think this has good support at 71.60 right here, even right to include that right there. That really, I think that's a good support. That 71 marker going back to May 1st, and also tagged it on that June 23rd. I think it trends near there over the next 2 weeks, and that is going to be your opportunity, an invitation to buy once you get to that 71. If you get there, a 71 handle, I think it happens in the next 2 weeks or so. But I would not be shocked if any pops take this to about 73.5. A little bit overdone to me, but I do think this drags towards the negative side over the next 2 weeks. Let's see if that's a theme of what I have to say over markets. A lot of them do look the same, like we went about 1% above our britches, above our target, and then now we're going to have a bit of just a small consolidation and taking a breather technically across markets for 2 weeks or so. Let's see if it translates to the next chart. Next is Taiwan. Taiwan got handled today, down 3%. Really not a great day. Of course, these guys have Taiwan Semiconductor, sensitive to tariff news. July 3rd, these guys peaked at 59.62, an ugly sell-off today. Superb, above 55 RSI trading in this since May 1st. Just absolutely stupendous. It's hard to see that oftentimes. So, similar to the other charts I was saying here, full target about 58. It over-accomplished and got to 59.60 over the next 2 weeks or so. I think this hangs in at about 56, right around here. Again, one of the better charts in the market, but I would not be absolutely shocked if there is fear and on tariff news and whatnot, it gets dragged down to 54. But this is a winner. Really great looking chart. Your support is there at 52.5. I don't think it gets that bad. I do think possibly 54. Again, a lot of these charts, like I said, for the next 2 weeks or so, we over-accomplished last week on Thursday globally for the most part, it seems, and we're just going to take a breather over the next 2 weeks in this quiet part of July. However, earnings do start. I believe JP Morgan does start at the end of the week, kicking off American financial earnings and corporate earnings, period. Okay, next one was Brazil. Brazil got smacked today too, down to almost 0.5%, very similarly the same amount as Japan. Look at that. So Brazil, a lot of rage recently. You could see it got to this 29.30 marker, or the old floor it had from last October. Similar here. Don't like the chart. Full valuation to me in the near-term target was right around 29. It did it by about 1% above that, 29.35. A lot of the charts look the same to me here. We just a lot. And this looks like it wants to go to, whoops, it popped off my other screen. I like the momentum breakout on it, but this looks like it's going to go to 28 even over the next, 2 weeks or so, and then I wouldn't be shocked if it visits 27 even. But definitely constructive looking chart, especially after this washout in mid to late April around this 2670 mark. Okay, so these are the three areas. If you were in Japan, Taiwan, or Brazil today, you got hurt by at least 2%. Top three gainers of the past 5 days. Let's take a look-see. The number one place in the entire market, solar, in the past 5 days. So that would be today, and then obviously Friday was off. So we go back to previous 4. We were looking at this chart. Solar, I was actually talking to a friend in solar finance this weekend, just anecdotally, but I was talking to him about recommending Solar Edge, and I never would have thought of it before. But this is exactly what I'm talking about. It is overbought here. It is still a sliding down 200-day moving average, but it's above it now. We wanted to see, this is something that it hasn't done in its profile, let alone tag it for more than a day. How about let's get more than one session or 2 sessions consecutively. Hasn't been able to do it. But now it's gotten 1, 2, 3, 4 sessions above. Really good looking momentum. I think it has, this is today's digestion day down about 0.5%. I think its natural resting point right here is right around 37. I think this is done quite a bit. You got a perfect looking doji here. You look at the runner trying to gas up for air, more big candles. And today finally stopped dead in its tracks right at that 39 level, still trying to essentially fill that gap that it had from the election day when Harris's chances reversed, and then basically Trump kind of reversed this industry. So that's where we got. So almost we were exactly back to where we were in the middle of the night of November 5th. Pretty wild in terms of solar. Similar to the other charts though. So while a little bit of FOMO can carry a little bit higher in the near term, 1% potential upside in your in your appropriate volatility products, QQQ versus the TAN versus silver, 1% possibly upside, but a lot of these charts look like this one specifically looks like it can easily get to 34 to 35 in the next 2 weeks. So be careful. This one could fall fast, but it does look like it's trying to have a turnaround. If this, in the next 2 weeks rests and it comes down to just about 34.5, I can't believe it, but it might be a lovely turnaround story. And you might want to look in the individual constituents under the hood and pick the best performance relative to strength in terms of, versus SPY and in the subsector itself. So those ones are probably going to be First Solar, Enphase, Solar Edge. So I want to look at those. Want to see where the sell-off takes in the next 2 weeks. I think it takes it to $34. If it does, it is no longer a pretender. I think it's a contender. If it absolutely breaks through, we're looking at this, $31 business again, then it's a pretender, not a contender. All right, but solar, one to watch and the best place in the market to be. So give that some credence. In the market the past 5 days, up 13%. Absolutely, just wow. Number 2, and you got to really zoom in for now for this to get the results. It's quite a bit back versus 13% gainer for solar. And there's also a volatile area. The gold miners, these guys dropped 5% in the past 5 days, or average of 1% a day. So not nearly as much alpha as the solar area. But these guys up today, up 80 bips. These guys had their highs back on June 5th at 71.84. I recommend all the time. This is I believe the second best. We were talking about this on the show from the other day. I believe this is the second best performer in the globe year over year, and it's in the class of ARK, or it's in conversation in terms of return year over year, like ARK, like a Bitcoin. So you have to buy this on pullbacks. I was pounding the table literally on the show there the other day, and I believe I said if you get this under 67, absolute steal. So let me put this up here. So here is 67 even. So you had several chances last week or the week prior. So June 30th. We've always, we've been recommending this for a while. Also stupendous RSI trading. This has been bid since April 9th. Not many charts. That's coming off the 52-week low in SPY. So just an absolute massive ramp up. This is going to be in bid mode right now to recalibrate. And if you want to get in right now, I would still like to get at 67, top 67.5 to have optimal risk reward. But this looks like it's headed to $72 where my cursor is. That would be new 52-week highs, especially as we see a little bit of a correction in the markets over the next 2 weeks. Just a bit of a breather. Assets like this, miners, the yellow metal stuff, will start to gain attraction and favor again as they rotate back into it. So this looks great. Congrats if you were able to get in under 67.5. Love that. As this looks, it is headed to 71.72 in the next 2 weeks. Finally, this chart does not look like the rest, like it's extended, maybe 1% upside, downside 5. or something like that. This was like it's going to run for the next 2 weeks, and it slightly began today, up 80 bips. Second best place to be in the entire past week, confirming my thesis there, is gold miners after solar. Number 3, the regional banks, the third best place, actually a tie with gold miners, 5%. Also very similar, just looking at in terms of where it tried to get to. So in terms of the regional banks, we are back to where we were in February. That 200-day moving average is pretty just a staunch dead line at 59.42. Excuse me. The third best place to be, as we said, in the entire past week. I think these guys overaccomplished as well. My full target was about 61, 62. These guys got to 63.75. And I think this looks like look out below. I not massive downfall here or anything, but I do think it goes down to potentially hug its 200-day moving average. And that usually puts investors on guard, algos on guard, as it were. So a little bit, to me, it's a great looking group overall. We were just praising it. It's been having a stellar week, but I don't think in 2 weeks we're singing the same story about regional banks. This looks like, to me, it wants to go right here and tag underneath its 200-day moving average and still contest with it. So for me, a red flag still on regional banks since early March. It's a comeback story off of this horrendous low of $47, but I do not want to chase it here. There's better charts than this in regional banks. Pretty interesting. Okay. If you got a ticker or something, put it in there, and I shall get to it. Okay. Top 3 losers of the past 5 days. Natural gas, the worst place to be in, down 8.5%. Today, down 90 bips. Just an ugly place to be. They've been bidding up the market to 6,200 in SPY, and they have been selling in natural gas, like I said, 8.5%. I think today was not the end of it. I think this still wants to try to find the bottom right around that 14.5 to 14.75 line is where I have here on my notes. So that's not really encouraging. 14.5 is basically back to where Christmas week. But I do think it bases here right around this week. Buyers step in and they try to take it to 16 even over the next 2-3 weeks. So if you're long on gas, I do think some good times are coming for you in the next couple of weeks. It's going to be a basing this week, but still the problem for UNG is the 200 moving average is still, it is rising, and I'll give it the benefit of the doubt if you have a rising 200-day, but it's at 1692, and that looks like massive overhead, and this next rally to me is not going to get above the 16-quarter mark. So interesting things happening in that gas, plunging very nearly to, as I said here, 7-month lows, so it can't give you warm and fuzzies, and again, it peaked back in March. Nat gas, the worst place to be in for the past week, down 8.5%. Then you got to zoom in to get into the next one, and a lot of it was today, but they've had a fall off from their highs. Japan, the second worst place to be after natural gas, down 3.25% in the past week. As I said, we already talked about this chart. I think potentially the downside, as I said, it goes down to about $71, and it is a bid group in demand for the most part. There are worse charts you could be in than this. But I do think this buyers try to take this and hold around 73. So for me, range bound, pretty spectacular fall today to nearly 0.5%. But for me, this is range bound between 71 and 74 over the next couple of weeks. I would step back from this one as it tries to basically descend where I think my cursor is right around there, around 71, 75-ish over the next 2 weeks. But Japan, second worst place to be in the marketplace after natural gas. And the third was BITO. I want to be specific. It's BITO specifically. It's not IBIT. It's not BTC Bitcoin. It's not any of the other ones. It's specifically BITO. Yes, Bitcoin itself also shed a little bit, but BITO is down 2.5%, and that's good enough to make it the third worst chart in the market over the past 5 days. Don't like it right here. Look at what it's been doing. BITO's been having a hard time with its 200 moving average. It is rising. It's at 2138. Today we closed at 2077. Do not like this chart right here for the next 2 weeks. It looks like this wants to fall to about, you think you're going to get some volatility expansion. This drops to about 19, right to where my cursor is, right around 1965, around 1970, where those May 6 lows held in. And that's where I think for the BITO chart. So it's 20 handle. I believe we start to descend, as I said, and start. I think it's begun over the last several days, and when it doesn't end until we get to about that 1975 point or another dollar lower from here in BITO. All right. Top 3 trades of the past 5 days. If you've been long TAN, short natural gas, and long gold miner juniors, you're absolutely crushing the market. Those are literally the best plays. All right, congratulations, happy 4th, happy birthday, America, happy belated, and everything. And oh yeah, Ozzy, I hope everyone saw that Black Sabbath thing. Really gonna listen to a lot of Black Sabbath this whole weekend. Watching it with my kid, cannot hit the volume, the mute button on the vulgarity fast enough. But love you, Ozzy, and the Black Sabbath. Great show, metal, rock on. One of the reasons why I do this. Peace.